Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm singing. When this hand is waving without color, without that much movement, but we already are ready to rock, to dance, and here we are. Welcome. What kind of noise it is? This is not on my side. Maybe still on yours.
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
not.
I've got my headset in. I don't hear anything. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, but at the same time, it's a kind of special noise. But maybe it will be disappearing.
Let's see.
Anyway. Uh, let's rock. Let's rock. Let's rock. Not rock. Rock. Welcome to Diversity is the Game Changer. Oh, now even I should speak even even more speed, because usually I'm a quiet speaker, but now we have to jump in the frames of 45 minutes today. But our life is like that now. We are busy, we have a lot to do, so let's begin. Our title today is Resilience over Resistance, and with Marques Ogden. Welcome to Diversity is the Game Changer. It's an honor, it's a privilege to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for your most precious commodity. It's your time, presence, full focus, your beautiful smile, frequency, energy. This is the most important we can give to each other, especially across the ocean. Um, so, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, ma'am?
Yes, fantastic. Especially now, I mislike a little bit that I am kidnapping you just for 45 minutes. This fact really give me a little bit less joy, but I'm hoping this is our first no, second interaction actually, and maybe one day, because I'm a very big hugger, we can start with very big hug and then we can rock. Anyway, in this still very electrifying episode of Diversity is the Game Changer, I'm honored to welcome, like I said, Marcus. Am I pronouncing right? It's Ogden.
Ogden. Yep, you're
Ogden.
Marcus Ogden. Yep, you got it.
Ogden. Oh, okay, Ogden. Sorry, my head sometimes really confused because they seven languages are married and dancing, and sometimes they're fighting. They don't know really how to pronounce. But thank you so much for your guidance. Former NFL player, global keynote speaker, one of the actually T best North America, and I believe even one of two. Business mentor, a host of the globally ranked top one podcast, Get Authentic with Marcus Ogden. You see? I'm with you. Marcus is not just success story. He's a resilient architect. From a multi-million dollar NFL career to losing everything in just 90 days and rebuilding from the ground up. His journey is a masterclass in resilience, humility, and authentic leadership. So, of course, featuring major global publications trusted by corporations navigating generational shifts and inclusion strategies. But beyond titles and achievement, this conversation will be going really deeper, because diversity is not just about categories, it's about lived experience, mindset transformation, and the courage to build your identity. So we are jumping immediately, not forward, not at the present, but a little bit backward to your childhood and your roots, because we know that everything what's going on with us today, Len, is very much in our childhood DNA, in how this could really impact our mindset. So could you please take us to the land, or yeah, special, maybe dreaming or aspirational place where this little boy Marcus was living, and it was how was his childhood? Thank you.
Yeah, so Marcus Ogden was born in Washington, D.C. I was born to my parents, Cheryl Phillip Ogden, and my mother, Cassandra Ogden, which was amazing. I was very, very close to my maternal grandparents. My mom's mom and dad, they lived in Washington, D.C., probably about 20 to 25 minutes away from where I grew up. I have an older brother, Jonathan Ogden, who also played football in the National Football League for the Baltimore Ravens. We grew up in a very lovely home, two loving parents. And then what happened is when I was 8 years old, our parents divorced. My mom left. My dad ended up getting full custody of both me and my brother, Jonathan, and he raised us as a single father, which was amazing and kind of really, in that regard, unheard of back then. Most times, even today still, I mean, it's more known and more common today, which is awesome. But back in the late 80s, it was not very common when parents divorced to have the dad be the primary caretaker and be the one that is awarded full custody, like my dad was for me and my brother. But again, growing up and that happened was a lot more challenging, a lot more difficult. It was a lot of things. It was stress and anxiety. And that's actually when I actually started going to therapy. The first time I went to therapy, I was 8 years old after our parents divorced, and that was great for me. And our dad did a phenomenal job raising us to be the best version of ourselves, which was really, really fantastic. And then what happened is I ended up going to college at Howard University, which is in Washington, D.C. It is a very well-known historical Black college and university. And I attended there. I studied finance and played football. I got a football scholarship to play for the Bison. And that really was a huge thing for me, right? And so going to Howard, playing football, studying finance, working for Merrill Lynch as an intern on downtown Washington, D.C. All these things were really amazing and really helped me become who I am today. But yeah, something about my upbringing and then kind of leading into college. And then from there, of course, when I left college, I got drafted into the National Football League.
Thank you so much. Genuinely impressive story, and like you already, Marcos, brilliantly precise that yes, it was unusual to be raised just by your father, and I'm so grateful he has done a tremendous job. I'm sure both for your brother and for you, and the story of divorce. I'm also a child of divorce. Like you said, I was 7 years old, but then it was opposite, maybe more common. My mom, she had full custody, and I've never seen my father. And of course, it gave more knowledge and lesson to become a wise from very young age. I'm sure you have also went through this path, right? And I'm so happy and thankful for you mentioning already therapy, because this is very important part of my advocacy through this show, knowing that okay, I have this mental uniqueness which is called neurodivergent. Now I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and I didn't solve it. We have still a lot of stigma, prejudice, and taboo ish on even word therapy. And I'm so happy that your father was even at that time so proactive and encouraged and actually showed you guys this way, that this is healthy and this is not a weakness. And I'm so happy that now you're saying about this from the strengths based side, that it's actually very helpful tool. Thank you so much. And okay, and now you are there with all these brilliant achievements. You're a young man, I'm sure the pride of your father, and with all this career, and actually this very young age, you have accomplished already so much. And can you take us smoothly further? And I'm sure that professional life and personal life and career are always so much intertwined, right? And also, like you said, and finance and football, it's also quite of diversity where you were access to. So how actually, what part, what importance, what place has been played this approach of diversity, not as a label, like everybody now even don't want to pronounce this word, but I'm just advocating this is our strength, because we are just so unique, all of us unique, and we have to be united to be stronger. So if you just very openly take us further through your where you actually stopped now, and how life career to Marques Ogden continued then, and what has happened that taught you biggest lessons of resilience. Thank you.
So basically, after college, I got drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida. It was amazing, and being drafted from Howard University to the National Football League, I'm the first, and I'm still the only offensive lineman to be drafted from Howard University to the National Football League. So that's quite an achievement. And my father always talked about how great that was for him to see his son, who went to the same college and university that he went to, because my dad also went to Howard University. It was a dream come true. The NFL was amazing. You talk about diversity, you talk about like beauty of different people, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. That's exactly what the National Football League embodied. When you have, guys coming in for training camp, and then you cut down to your active roster, then you cut down to adding your practice squad, plus your coaches, plus other people in the front office. That's diversity. You're going to have to learn to communicate, get along, and collaborate with people that don't look like you, people that don't think like you, people that are very unique and have a different perspective than you. And here's the thing, right? Everybody needs to be aligned to the goal or the achievement desire of winning the Lombardi Trophy. If you're on an NFL football team and you don't believe that your team can win the Super Bowl, you don't need to be on that team. And you probably should find another career. So the NFL taught me a lot of life lessons, but something about resilience that I learned, and I truly talk about this almost all the time. Anytime I do a keynote speech, I talk about this. Coach Jack Del Rio, who was my rookie head coach in the National Football League with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who also, when I was a rookie player in the NFL, that was Jack's first year as a head coach in the NFL. And he told us in a team meeting to all of the rookies right before the veterans came in for camp, for OTAs or off-season training activities. He said, gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you is bigger than football. It's about the game of life. You have to be your own CEO, your own chief executive officer. He said, if you're waiting for me or other coaches or people in the building to tell you when to get here, work hard, stay late, go into the Jacksonville Jaguar community, meet people, connect with people, collaborate with other businesses, and build your reputation within this community. If I have to tell you that, you will not have a job for long in the National Football League and for sure with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that was huge for me. And I also learned from another great head coach, Mike Mularkey, who was my head coach with the Buffalo Bills. In order to take control, right, control of your life, you have to manage the 4 C's: your calendar, your clock, your communication, your consistency. Your calendar, you have to plan things out. We were here at 9 o'clock for a meeting. Boom. That's how it's going to be. Then you have your clock, right? You have to time block things on your calendar. Communication, you have to be clear and concise on how you talk to others so they can understand you and apply what you are saying. And then consistency. You are the magic factor to your success. Showing up and putting the work in, nobody else. So again, there were so many great lessons that I learned from the NFL. When I retired from the NFL, I struggled immensely with mental health issues. Our father had just passed away about a year before my retirement. I didn't know what to do. I had no purpose. I had no direction. I was drinking heavily. I was taking painkillers constantly. And I was just literally trying to defile and erode myself away because I was so depressed. I was so just like feeling like a failure. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just getting up every day and I had no identity. I didn't know who I was, who I could become, and what I could be at my best. So finally, I put the bottle down. I met my business partner and we started Caden Premier Enterprises. And the company had fast paced growth. It was doing amazing. We became a multiple 8-figure a year earning business in year 4. Things were looking fantastic. But unfortunately, when year 4 hit with all that success, all that notoriety, I wasn't ready for it. I didn't know how to handle it. And my mental health broke down even more. I drank a lot. I was partying a lot. I was eating all types of crap food constantly. I was literally just living a very public life. I'm this happy go lucky business owner. And behind closed doors, my life was in shambles. And then in 2013, I ended up losing everything that I owned because of my ego and my bravado and my negative mindset and negative nature. And I had to pack up and leave Baltimore and move down to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wow, what a profound transformational story, which I think one person barely can pack in 14 lives. And you have very rich story with a lot of knowledge that first of all the God has sent to you, and you should really go through that. And now I'm so happy to see that you are back to your 5C in even more. I would say it's sex C, because it's plus compassion, because without compassion you cannot become this beautiful personality you are now.
I
You
like
are
that.
showing so much compassion to others, including me. Thank you so much. When I have just reached out to you, you were so kind immediately. Yes, Valeria, of course I can help. Though you big, I know you've been once and now all like a big star with all these achievements. You're so humble, you're so kind, you're so compassionate to us. But before actually any person can walk this way, you have to learn to be compassionate to yourself. And this is the biggest challenge and work I know myself, because I'm struggling from mental issues as well. And self-worth and ego, oh my God, we know ego, it's a tricky lady. She's taking much more than she's giving. And sometimes we wrap in her in charisma word, but it is not. Ego is ego. And I'd love to cite you. I've been doing my homework on you. Are speaking often about how massive ego can trap you and how it has trapped you. Exactly, right? So I'm so happy that you're back to your 5C and plus one. I think it's one more C. It's also collaboration. It's exactly what you are doing now. Exactly in every interaction, we are both students and we are teachers. We can gain so much profound knowledge from each other by being collaborative and compassionate. So thank you so much. And of course, to get even more result, we should create more real inclusive environments, not just on the papers, not just for tokenism sake and for this ticking of box, and exactly what also you are doing. And I would like to cite you. Leadership is not a title or a privilege. Leadership is a responsibility to serve those in your charge. Exactly. I also do believe that leadership, it's not ownership, it's stewardship. And especially with these big lives, how you have been sent from God, leadership is visibility, and visibility is a responsibility, right? So what do you think, how actually we should build now more inclusive environments based on really these 5 or 6C, and we can be inspirational for our youngsters, because they are trapped in so much noise by social media, by fakes now. So they really sometimes so confused what kind of qualities to perceive, because authenticity now it's very rare product. Right? Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, what I'm hearing, and I agree 100%, our youth needs to hear more authenticity, more realness from people like you, like me, and like others. Because unfortunately, especially for young people, they get caught up in the comparison game. And a lot of times I'm looking on social media, seeing what other kids their age are posting, or YouTube, or people that are influencers are posting, TikTok, Instagram, where the case may be, and they feel that they need to do the type of things that the other people are doing, like the influencers, like the YouTubers, and they end up chasing goals or chasing aspirations that truly aren't even theirs. And that's a really bad place to be. Because if you're trying to pursue what others are trying to pursue, or if you're trying to pursue what others want you to pursue, the problem with that is you end up not really going after what you want in life. And life is too short. Life is too, you can blink and it's gone. So why would you waste your time trying to do or trying to be what others want you to be? What good is that? That's not a good place to be. So I really like what you're saying, because young people need to hear more of your story or my story, or people that are real and raw and vulnerable, and not just people only telling you the good in their life, all the glitz, the glamour, because we both know there is a lot more to life than that. There is ups, there's downs, there's highs, there's lows, there's peaks, there's valleys. And these young people just need to hear more authentic, real talk and have authentic, real conversations, because that is going to move the mountain. That's going to allow our young people and anybody that's actually listening, right, Valerie, that wants to better themselves, to go and climb and achieve and get to that next summit, or that next goal, or the top of the mountain, or elite status, or as I like to say, stepping out of your comfort zone every day to be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. I embrace and I'm joining your thoughts, and not just thoughts, but the path you, not just talking about working and working persistently, but 100% with all my molecules and atoms, because it is so important to understand that, like you said, life is so short and everybody is taking it just but you, and you are here for so short period of time. You have own mission, vision, calling, and you have really to understand that every single voice in this earth is really unique, and you have to believe in yourself, in your inspirations. And like Einstein said, that the greatest thief of joy is comparison. And now unfortunately it's through so many people, even for grown-ups, for all, it's so easy to be trapped in this social media. And from one place, I am happy that it can be used as platform to spread our strong message, your story, my story, right? And because I think now it's not a weakness, though I believe many years I was called broken, not good enough, disabled, disordered. But now I'm advocating. Yes, I've started my podcast, which I'm joking like Pijcast, in mental institution. People in shock when I mentioned that from the first. I said, yes, I was 4 weeks in mental institution with my OCD severe episode, and I started there. I was approached by another person, like a model, like a Mrs. Wall Congeniality, but I was bold enough to say, you want me to give interview now? Okay, I'm in my pajama in mental institution. You still want to hear my story? Yes, he won. Now he's my best friend, and he encouraged me to start own show. Exactly. So I'm so thankful that you are sharing your bold story, you are teaching, you are role model, you are showcasing. And I do love so much how you say that believe in yourself and you always will be in position to win. And here you also say, and resilience over resistance, and then again you will be in the best position to win, right? Because when purpose and passion align in your life, greatness on the horizon. So you see, I made my homework, huh? Yes, amazing. And let's elaborate a little bit about neurodiversity or cognitive diversity, or just people, when they don't know, is, oh, it's too much academia, but it's actually diversity of brains that I explain very easily. We have fingertips different, DNA different, biodiversity different, botanical garden different, roses with lily not competing, beautiness. Why our brain should be equal, right? But it's still a lot of stigma, prejudice, taboo, a lot. It's better now. How do you think actually what we can do in togetherness to create more inclusive environments for people like you, like me, with this special, I call it mental uniqueness, I don't call it disabilities. Thank you.
So, what I feel needs to happen, we need to have real, more consistent opportunities, workshops, conversations around this topic. The only way you're going to ever change anything is to talk about something, not just once, multiple times. It has to happen time and time again. It's like you're trying to be, if you're practicing to become a great football player or a great basketball player, you don't practice one time and you're done. You practice constantly. You work at it constantly to really have more diversity and more inclusion and more inclusive environments and
Mhm.
places where people feel they can communicate and talk to each other. You have to set the tone by creating safe spaces and or safe places for people to come and dialogue. So it really has to come from corporations, organizations, non for profits, education, like whatever the case may be, right? It has to come from people that are in high up leadership positions, inviting people to panels, discussions, workshops, seminars, meetups, whatever the case may be, and start having more dialogue. Like, what does diversity or what does inclusion or inclusive environments or what does environments where people can speak and not fear being judged? What is it about environments where we can have psychological safety? What needs to be done? How can you do this? And so what happens is when you have conversation around it, you open up dialogue. And what happens then is when people are dialoguing, if it's being done correctly, people are being curious about getting other people's perspective, their wisdom, and or their knowledge. And when that happens, that's when change happens. So what I feel needs to happen is we need to have more places, meetings, workshops, seminars, meetups, whatever you want to call them, and bring people together to start dialoguing, having real, authentic, raw conversations where people can speak their mind and not fear being judged or ridiculed or to be made fun of or to, like you said, to feel less than a human being. We need to have more discussions like this.
Mhm.
Those type of discussions and dialogue will bring about real systemic change in creating better cultures, more diversity, and more inclusive environments.
Amazing. What an inspiration. You really have this magic. Now I understand why you're one of the best speakers, Marcus, because actually, when you're speaking, I almost like sitting with my open mouth, and you have this energy that, that it's kind of special, that hypnotizing me. When I like almost physically start like attracting towards like screen, like really, really. It's because I do love so much. I'm sure that when you enter the room, you actually own the room because you interconnect with all the people, not just on the level of words. I'm sure they feel you, they see you, they hear you, and they really can channel the energy because you have been through so much and walking your path. And it's about this belief you're also talking, not from ego place, but from compassion, empathy. When was this game changer, when actually you understood that you could share your story, but first of all, of course, you could acknowledge your story for yourself. It's about self empowerment, and then you can share to help other. When you again choose to believe in yourself, and became in this position to win, and then start actually being keynote speaker after this when you moved to, you said about Raleigh.
Right, yep, to Raleigh, North Carolina. So a couple of things. First thing, ladies and gentlemen, and you made an excellent point. When I speak, I have energy. I'm excited, and that's 100% who I am. People are going to buy your energy, your confidence, your conviction long before they're going to listen to any word or words out of your mouth all day. If people can feel you're not excited about it, you're not passionate about it, you don't really love it, and you're just doing it because it's a job or it's a chore, it's just like in a relationship. If you're married to somebody and your partner and or spouse feels that you're just there because you're married or you're there because you've been together for 5 years, 10 years. There's no passion in your eyes. There's no excitement when you talk to that person. When you don't come across that you really want to be there with them. You're just there because you have to be, not because you want to be. That's when divorce happens. That's when people don't want to work things out. I'm divorced, and when I filed for divorce, that's how I felt. I'm like, well, obviously, she does not want to be here. She does not want to make it work, which is totally fine. And that's when I said, well, if you don't want to make it work, I don't need to be here. And I filed, right? It's the same thing in sales, right? Trying to connect with people. You need to connect with people in a relationship that's personal. You need to connect with people in a relationship that's business. Same thing, same energy. You just have to come across in a different way, not with so much passion, but more energy, right? Because people will buy that in sales. So that's a big thing. I want to make sure I kind of touched on that. People buy your energy, your confidence, and your conviction long before they buy your knowledge, your wisdom, and what you say out of your mouth, right? They buy your energy first, and then they buy the logic after that. Those two align, the sale is almost always yours. Now, to answer your other question, I really remember when I got my first piece of feedback from my first paid job. It was for Miller Mock College in Wilmington, North Carolina in April 2016. I remember when somebody came up to me and said, Mr. Ogden, I want to thank you. And I said to her, I said, thank me for what? She said, your story of resilience, you faced so much adversity, lost your home, lost your cars, lost all your money. You moved to Raleigh with only $400 to your name. You were fired from 2 jobs in the same week. You're here now. You're speaking to us. You didn't get a paid job for 2.5 years. We are your first opportunity in that regard. It is your first big major project, and you didn't quit. You didn't give up. You really inspired me. And she said to me this exact words: your story is very similar to mine. I just don't have the courage that you do to share just yet. And I told her, I said, young lady, I understand, but remember this: your story makes you who you are. When you embrace that, and again, none of us are perfect. None of us. We all have, pitfalls. We all make mistakes. We all have hardship. And I feel, right, that's what happens. So many people are afraid to tell their story because their story is not perfect. They know that nobody else can be perfect, but they feel that they need to be. And I told her, no matter what you do, your story is powerful enough. Don't worry about your mistakes or your shortcomings. We all have those. You just got to keep pressing forward. So to answer your question specifically, it was after that talk when the young lady told me that my story had a deep tie-in, a deep resonation, a deep connection to her. It resonated with her. It connected with her. It aligned with her in some capacity. And this young lady was probably in her early to mid 20s, single mom doing her thing. And I said, look, you're doing great. Just keep going. When I realized that my story could connect with a young single mom of two who just graduated from her trade school, I'm like, wow, this story will probably relate to a lot of people. And over the years, I've just added on to it, like the ups, the downs, the not getting a paid job for 2.5 years, and having people that I thought were my great friends tell me they would never hire me to speak for them because I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a big name to them. I had people who I thought were friends who told me that. One person in particular who I thought was a longtime friend and supporter turned out to be one of my biggest enemies because he did not like what I was doing and he had no plan to help me in any capacity. Again, I didn't want like a helping hand. He had no plan to even give me an opportunity to do anything. And so again, that was the moment that I realized I really do have something special. Now, of course, like anything else, you're going to have to work your way through the ups, the downs, the challenges, the rejection, the hardship, all those things. But that moment made me realize in April 2016, when that young lady who was probably, I don't know, 13 to 15 years younger than me, single mom who worked her butt off, graduated, now is going to go into her life, into her trade, told me that my story not only related to her, but it also inspired and uplifted her. So if you're listening to this podcast, it doesn't have to be something miraculous. It doesn't have to be something out of this world. It doesn't have to be something that's so earth-shattering with your story. It just has to be your real, true, authentic story.
Absolutely. I love it so, so much. And it's exactly like I said, leadership, it's not ownership, it's stewardship. And by your story, you can inspire so many people. And it should not start from the place of being perfect, but start with the place of being honest. This is the most important, right? And nobody can take it from you because you don't need to copy anybody else, and everybody else is already taken. It's really architecture. It's a ladder with ups and downs and a roller coaster sometimes, and we need more and more inspirational voices like you to share the story. And one of my wishes to be part of one of your because we have set like a clock calendar, right, and of this, and you have encouraged that we have to share more and more knowledge about this authentic story and mental challenge and therapy and a lot of tools that people can really use and help each other. And we should raise awareness, impact, talk more and more. So I do wish for myself to be in one of these with clock that you and me, we can really in together share more and more and create more safety arena where people can share these experiences. So thank you so much for sharing your story. It's really, really profound, and of course, when it's also spiced with so much energy, it's contagious, it's magical, it's transformational. My last question before we wrapping up, I want to invite, how I call it and joking a lot, my vice president, and then people like, oh, okay, it's more stuff here. We were not warned that we should be sharing this studio with another person, and then I'm actually pulling out this lady, this beautiful lady, and then I'm asking the question, can you recognize what it is? This is
It's the genie of the magic lamp.
exactly. And I do love so much because she is really magical. She's toughy one, she's beautiful, she never fights with me, she supports my ideas, though we know leadership needs actually constructive challenge and perspective sometimes, but we are so much aligned. So my last question would be for you, Mr. Ogden. Today, we cannot grant your wishes. We want to help as many guests as possible, but one wish with quality, absolutely, it is what we can grant in. So could you please share your idea exactly right now in this moment? What is on your heart, soul, and when you're scanning the presence in your body and heart and energy, what kind of wish you would like to give to my vice president, to the genie lamp?
I would love for you all just to help continue to spread the message and the awareness around our podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. That's it, because that's a wish that I know will help so many other people who are going through challenges, hardships, negativity, stress, self-doubt, criticism, lack of self-confidence. Our podcast has truly made a tremendous impact with everyone that listens to it. Once people find it and they listen, they love it. They love it. There's days we'll get between 10 to 15,000 downloads in a day. We had like almost 12. We had between 11 and 12,000 downloads yesterday of our podcast in a day. In a day. So we have our YouTube channel we just launched with content and with messaging and all that stuff. So I would love to have your genie of the magic lamp. I would love them to grant this wish of helping more people to find out about our podcast. Therefore, they can listen to our podcast and be inspired and really soar and climb and really achieve that road to summit. And to get to that summit in their life, they'll find a new mountaintop, they'll climb to that summit and repeat. Never, ever get complacent in your life. When you get complacent, that's when bad things happen. So in short, I would love the genie of the magic lamp to grant the wish of helping more people to find out about our podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden.
Absolutely. I will be joining. She is buzzing of energy. She is also so much loaded of your energy now. So I can feel how much she excited. I will be sure that actually this wish absolutely comes true. So I'm genuinely thankful, grateful to you that you have found the time for me and for my genie, for our audience, and for sharing your story, for you being you walking, talking. You are inspirational voice for me, one of role models, and I really impressed by authenticity of yourself, like I said, and your how you put it, authenticity. Actually, it's not a just real soft topic of our life. It's really the base of our life leaders architecture. It's so important. So thank you again, and for these inspirational notes, for your energy, frequency, like I've said, beautiful smile. And I wish that more and more people will be inspired and really transported by our dialogue, and they will be reaching out to you, to your podcast. And yes, authenticity, like I said, and resilience over resistance, and diversity, really game changer. Unique voices are so beautiful, and united we are stronger. United we can reinforce and create more magic and togetherness. So thank you so much, my beautiful audience. Please reach out to me if you need more information where you can find Marques. And I wish everybody you massive success, and please never give up. Listen to us. Stories really, life is really medals with two sides, and please believe in yourself. This is the most important that you can keep. By being yourself, you can inspire so many other people to make and spread the magic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Much love from Norway. Hope one day we can share one stage and even in togetherness, like marry our energy and like influence even more.
I'm sure we will.
Thank you. Bye bye until next time. Bye, Marques.
See ya.
See you.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.